Hello everyone, this is iKonakona, and in this video I'm gonna be talking about some jet strategies in Battlefield 3 so that you don't fly like a noob. Now you're probably thinking like, hey wait Kona, you didn't do a first impressions video for Battlefield 3. Well, I don't really think there's a need to do that because this game is awesome, and I actually heard that some people actually canceled their pre-orders for this game based on the beta. To me, that was kind of a foolish mistake because they are missing out. Pretty much all the bugs that were in the beta are completely gone. Everything pretty much works. There aren't that many problems with it. Maybe a few crashes here or there, but they're very rare. This game is awesome, and I really recommend it because, especially if you're a fan of the Battlefield series and you like vehicles as well as infantry fighting, this game has it all. Now, like I said, I wanted to go over some basic flying tips for the jets, and this is one of my goals when I'm gonna play this game. Now that I have this game and I see what this is all about, one of my goals is actually to get really good at all the vehicles, because I was never really a vehicles person in any of the previous Battlefield games. I didn't like going to tanks, APCs, jeeps, helicopters, or jets in Battlefield 2. I didn't really like vehicles, but that's one of the unique things about this game is vehicles. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get really good at vehicles. And my first one is going to be the jets. Right there, that was an example of me not being very good with the jets. So I'm still learning, but yeah, my goal is to get really good with the jets and then move on to something else like helicopters and tanks and so forth. Now, if you want to be a good pilot, you have to understand the dynamics of a jet or the dynamics of an airplane. Basically, there are three axes of rotation or movement on an airplane. You can pitch up and down, which makes the nose go up and down. You can roll left or right, which makes you roll kind of like this. And you can also yaw left and right. Now, yawing is not really used too much. I don't really use yawing too much. But most of the time I'm going to be using the rolling and pitching up. You can see here that I'm rolling and pitching up in order to turn. And that's really how you want to turn in this game, because yawing doesn't make you turn that fast. So remember, there are a lot of different ways of controlling this jet, but I recommend using the pitching and as well as the rolling in order to make your turns. Now, in addition to the axes of rotation in a jet, you can also throttle up to speed up, as well as activate your air brakes to slow down. And what I've noticed is that not many pilots out there use their air brakes. Air brakes are actually very important in dogfighting especially, and in flying in general, because the jets move so fast that it's very difficult to try and aim your plane or your gun while your airplane is going so fast. You don't have a lot of time to aim because you're going so fast. So I recommend slow down so that you have more time to aim. That way everything is a little slower and more manageable. Now, I recommend actually going on a small server, and that's what I did. By the way, I actually unlocked all the unlocks possible for the jet already, and it's only been like a week. So I already have all the unlocks, and right now I'm not going to show off all the unlocks. I'm going to show it off in the later videos. But when you start off, just like I did, because I remember I was a noob. I was a real noob, and I could barely get the plane off the ground. If you're like me and you just don't know how to fly, I would recommend going into an almost empty server. I think there's a lower limit to how many people you can actually have to start the game. I think it's 8 people at least to start a game. But try to go to a small server and try to fly the plane. Now, don't feel ashamed or embarrassed if you start crashing a lot, because hey, that's how I started. I could barely get the plane off the ground, and look at me now. I'm flying pretty good right now. I'm actually getting some kills, see? And so don't worry about being a noob when you're starting off, because that's how everyone starts off. All it takes is practice, is keep on trying, and you'll eventually learn how to do it. Now, once you've learned how to fly the plane, and once you understand the basics of, pitching and yawing and rolling, that kind of stuff, to get a good feel for the plane, then it's time to try and start to dogfight someone. And what I actually did was I actually got into a server with some guys who were actually trying to fly the plane as well. They were noobs as well, and we were like, hey, do you want to try chase each other just for fun? And that's what we did for like 4 hours. All I did was fly around, and I helped this other guy practice flying by letting him chase me, and then we did the opposite. We switched, and he was now being chased and I was the chaser. So This allowed me to practice chasing another plane, just so that I won't panic when I see another plane start to move in another direction. I will know how to chase him, and that was really good practice, was learning how to predict the person's movement as well as keep on their tail. And this is where the air brakes come in handy, because the air brakes, what they will allow you to do is actually stay behind the enemy. When you activate your air brakes and you make a turn, you will slow down a lot. And when you slow down a lot, the enemy plane is just going to pass right by you, and it's going to be a lot easier to follow them. So whenever I'm trying to follow a plane, I usually activate my air brakes right when I hit a turn, because then it allows me to turn, and now I'm right behind them. Now you'll notice that I like to switch camera views a lot, and I mainly do that because when you're in first person view, you can't see a lot. You know, you're very limited on what you can actually see in front of you, and it's sometimes difficult to spot an enemy plane from far away. And so what I like to do is I like to fly around in third person view, get a good big view of the area first, and once I find someone, then I go over there and then switch to first person view, and then this way I can line up my shot. Now in this video, I'm only going to be showing me using my machine gun. And it's because that's what you're going to be starting off with. You're going to be starting off with only a machine gun, and that's it. Later on, you're going to unlock things like the heat-seeking missile and rockets and stuff like that. But really, your machine gun is probably, I think, actually one of the best weapons for air-to-air combat. Now, I say that because when I try to lock onto an enemy jet with a heat-seeking missile, they will know that I'm trying to lock onto them. They're gonna get a little warning sound saying that I'm trying to lock onto them. And when they hear that, they usually start to squirm around and start to fly in all these random patterns, trying to avoid me. And so I found that because they're trying to do that, because they're trying to fly in all these random patterns to try and get away from me, it's very difficult to get a good lock on them. What I like to do is I like to sneak up on them without them knowing and try to get a few good shots on them with my machine gun, and it only takes a few seconds of bullets to disable their jet. By the way, this game has something called disabling vehicles, which basically means that when you damage them enough and you disable their vehicle, they lose control over that vehicle. They may have some control over it, but they lose a lot of control. And so it's not killing them or destroying the vehicle, it's just disabling. It's a pretty cool concept. Now here I'm trying to get this helicopter, and it's really tough to get helicopters because of how slow they fly, and boom! Oh man, flew right into him. Oh man, I gotta watch out for that sometimes, because sometimes when helicopters hover, I approach them faster than I think, so yeah, crash into them sometimes. Now here's something pretty interesting. I shoot this jet and I disable it, but look at this. Let's pause right here and zoom in. Look at that guy. That's the pilot of the jet that I just disabled. He bailed out, and I didn't really notice until after reviewing this footage that he bailed out of this jet, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny, you know? And you can see there I got a vehicle destroyed, but I didn't get the kill. Now, if you want to fly in jets, please don't do this. Don't team kill for the jets. Look at this douche. He just team killed me, and now he's flying away. Hope he crashes. But yeah, do not team kill for the jets, because that is just not cool, you know. It's getting really old, and don't be like that. Here, I didn't actually cut this footage. When I died, I respawned into the jet, and this other guy kills me. What is up with that? Look at this douche, and luckily, look at this. Good for him. Someone else got into the jet and ran him over, so good for him. Yeah, do not team kill for the jets. It gets really old, and it's not really the right thing to do, and you can actually spawn in the jet from the respawn screen, so do that instead of killing for the jets. Now in this last clip, I'm trying to chase down this guy, but I'm not really paying attention to my surroundings, and boom! That was such a fail. So I hope you guys learned a lot about flying jets in Battlefield 3, and I'm going to be making more videos of me using other weapons and other unlocks. Things like heat-seeking missiles as well as guided missiles for taking out tanks. It's all pretty cool. Now if you like to fly jets and you have some more tips, let me know in the comments below. Also, I'm going to be trying to fly helicopters soon, and I need some tips on that because I have been crashing helicopters left and right. Now, if you're new around here and you enjoyed it, you can click on that yellow button and subscribe to me. Also, 2 videos you may have missed, the Battlefield 3 campaign, Operation Guillotine, as well as some combat NG on Harvest. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.